It was supposed to be a light-hearted night on late-night television when legendary actor and director Clint Eastwood appeared as a guest on Jimmy Kimmel Live. The audience buzzed with excitement, expecting a mix of nostalgic storytelling and dry humor that Eastwood is known for. But things took a sharp turn early in the interview when Kimmel brought up recent political controversies, which seemed to trigger a visible shift in Eastwood's demeanor. The atmosphere grew tense as Kimmel, known for his sharp wit and progressive takes, began pressing Eastwood on his opinions, prompting what would become a night the studio crew and viewers wouldn't forget anytime soon. Kimmel, in a tone that started casual but quickly edged toward pointed, asked Eastwood about his thoughts on the current administration and the influence of celebrities in politics. Eastwood, never one to shy away from expressing his views, responded in kind, defending his beliefs with his signature no-nonsense attitude. What was meant to be a humorous segment quickly turned serious as the two exchanged increasingly tense remarks. The studio audience, unsure whether to laugh or stay silent, sat frozen as the once amiable chat spiraled into ideological conflict live on air. Things escalated further when Eastwood, frustrated by what he perceived as loaded questions, turned the tables on Kimmel. He accused the host of pushing an agenda and not respecting differing viewpoints. Kimmel retorted with a jab about Eastwood's famous empty chair speech, calling it performance art at its most confusing. The audience gasped, sensing the heat in the conversation. What was once witty banter had become a verbal chess match, with both men standing firm. The tension between old-school conservatism and modern progressive comedy clashed in front of millions of viewers. As the exchange intensified, Eastwood leaned forward in his chair and challenged Kimmel more directly, questioning the role of late-night television in shaping political opinion. He pointed out how humor is often used as a shield from misinformation or character attacks, claiming it undermines meaningful discourse. Kimmel responded that satire has always been a tool for critique, and if celebrities like Eastwood step into politics, they should be ready for scrutiny. This back and forth went beyond typical late-night furia. It was starting to resemble a televised debate more than an interview. Behind the scenes, producers were frantically deciding whether to cut to commercial or let the conversation play out. The show's director reportedly gave the crew hand signals to stay ready for an emergency cue. Meanwhile, Clint's posture grew stiffer and more combative. He rejected Kimmel's follow-up questions and eventually spoke over the host, something that hadn't happened on the show in years. Viewers at home began flooding social media with comments, with many expressing shock and others cheering the confrontation. The atmosphere in the studio was charged, uncertain, and unprecedented. Then came the moment that broke the show's rhythm entirely. Kimmel made a sarcastic remark about Clint's age and relevance in modern Hollywood, which many in the audience felt crossed the line. Eastwood's face tightened, and in a rare moment, he addressed the crowd directly, calling out what he perceived as a culture of disrespect for differing opinions. He stood up mid-interview, removing his microphone and stating, "If we can't talk like adults, what's the point?" Kimmel, clearly taken aback, tried to calm the situation with humor, but the moment had passed. Security didn't escort Eastwood out, but producers did step in quietly to lead him backstage, away from the cameras. The feed cut to commercial abruptly. When the show returned, Kimmel addressed the audience with a half-hearted joke about passionate conversations and aging icons. However, the damage was done. The rest of the show felt disjointed, with remaining guests visibly distracted by the unexpected walk-off. Online, the incident trended for hours, sparking debates about cancel culture, free speech, and the role of comedy in politics. In the days that followed, both camps released carefully worded statements. Kimmel called Eastwood a legend and insisted no disrespect was intended, while Eastwood maintained that he wasn't angry, just disappointed in the hostile tone of the interview. Talk shows, news outlets, and podcasts replayed the footage on loop, analyzing every word and facial expression. Some saw Eastwood's walk-off as a stand for integrity, while others viewed it as a stubborn refusal to accept criticism. Either way, the interview became a cultural flashpoint, reigniting discussions about generational divides in public discourse. Industry insiders were split in their opinions. Some criticized Kimmel for provoking a guest known for being private and set in his ways, while others applauded him for not holding back. Within Hollywood, the event led to debates about which topics are fair game on air and where the line lies between authenticity and ambush. Eastwood, who has always valued control over his image, reportedly declined further press opportunities in the aftermath, preferring to let the moment stand without elaboration. The incident added a controversial chapter to both men's careers. Weeks later, the buzz began to fade, but the moment remained etched in pop culture memory. Kimmel's team subtly edited future interviews to avoid similar derailments, while Eastwood retreated to the quiet of his next film project. Yet, for many, that night on Jimmy Kimmel Live represented something deeper, a reflection of how difficult it's become to have public disagreements without things falling apart. In an age where every word is recorded, analyzed, and weaponized, Clint Eastwood and Jimmy Kimmel's confrontation served as a dramatic, unscripted reminder of the challenges in bridging personal belief with public entertainment.